What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome back to the iherng podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Makeover guys. They are now introducing this brand new promotion called the Makeover Mania campaign, where there is up to 10,000 ringgit either in discounts or giveaways. So I just put the link down below, but to me all my units are furnished by them, including the one that I'm going to move in soon. So check it out. And today we will read an email. Hello Sean, my name is Howard and I have been studying your videos on YouTube for around a year now. I would like your input on my current property predicament. Here we go. My fiance and I are currently staying in a pretty cheap apartment in Sri Kembangan area. This apartment actually belongs to my relative who is currently working overseas, and he has agreed to let me stay at the apartment rent-free, provided that I pay for the maintenance costs as well as upkeep the apartment during his absence. Previously, he has mentioned that he plans to work overseas for around 5 years and then return to retire in Malaysia, which is estimated to be in 2027. Hence, my fiance and I are currently contemplating on whether should we buy our first home for the family we plan to have in the not so distant future. For some context, we are both 26 years old this year and are earning about a combined gross income of 20,000 every month. My line of work is expecting a pay bump in the next year, but I will not take it into consideration as it has not happened yet. Our industry is pretty stable as well. The property we are planning to buy are new launch projects, 1,100 square feet and above, and around the price of 700,000 to 900,000. We have no debt currently as our cars have been fully paid and we do not have any other liabilities under our name. The monthly repayment of mortgage is estimated to be about 3,500 every month. We have a combined current liquid assets of about 300,000. But this is all in. So the questions are as followed. Number 1, at our current earning ability, is the purchase of the properties we are looking at too high or too risky for us? What's the recommended property price for our income range? Number 2, from our understanding, we will be paying progressive interest during the construction phase of the property. Do we take our future income into consideration when estimating affordability? Number 3, do you suggest we buy new projects which will be completed around 2027 to 2028, or wait until our income is higher and buy from the subsale market in 2027 instead? The issue is my fiance is not keen on buying subsales properties unless there is minimal wear and tear from the previous owner/tenant. Number 4, for new launch properties, actually people pay most of their attention to the unit they plan to purchase and not the other things like design of the corridors, lift lobbies, main lobby, refuse chamber design, facilities, actual design, etc. But these things are hard to see until the property itself has been completed. My fiance is concerned about these things due to us visiting one of the old projects of a developer, noticing that the lift lobby was pretty dark and gloomy due to not getting any natural sunlight from its location and design. How do we gain comfort that these things will not be an issue when we buy a new project? Hope you will be able to assist us. Then there's a follow-up email. Some additional things to add on. My fiance is not too keen on the idea of renting for our own home, as she does not want to deal with the stress of possibly having to move and being unable to have a permanent place to call home. I would also like to know, is it possible for me to qualify for the loan using my name only, assuming my income is 10,000? DSR would be about 30 to 40% in the bank's eye, but we will be splitting the mortgage payment between the two of us. Thank you very much. So Howard, thank you very much for the email. I really appreciate it. It's very, very detailed. Basically, it's a husband and wife who is now staying for free in a relative house in Sri Kembangan, planning to buy their own house. And the budget is from 700,000 to 900,000, which estimated to be the monthly installment of 3,500 every month. So, can they afford it? But before that, right, I think the style of email really showcase that you guys are very prudent. At 26, both of y'all have about 300,000 in liquid assets. That's great. Combined income is about 20,000, also very good. And the way you ask questions and things like that is just very, very prudent. So I like all of it, like in terms of the car payments, all done, no debt. So let's just go into question 1, right? Is the price of property we are looking at too high, which means like 3,500 installment every month for a joint income of 20,000? But you also ask that, is it possible to only use your name to buy the property? Technically, like rule of thumb, right? I will just times 3 one. So 3,005 in order to qualify for a loan that is 3,005, you times 3. So it's about 10,500. And in your case, should not be a problem at all because 10,000, right, to be thinking about it, it's very close to the T20 already. T20 is about 10,800 if you consider home Malaysia. It will be 11,250 if you use the standard of income for Klang Valley itself. So that's very interesting for another whole topic lah. Like you think about a property that is 8 to 900,000, right? It's the T20 that can buy only leh. But then when you look into the sales progress, right? Walao, why still so many people buying one? Right? So many T20s around me. But coming back to your question, right? In my opinion, is it too risky? To me, as long as in my standard, right? As long as the bank approve the financing, means that their years of calculation and risk assessment and have confidence in me paying them back. It means they have full confidence in my current income statement and condition for the next 35 years that I will be paying them back, including interest. So that's my gauge. That's the whole idea of the channel too. If everybody were to just follow this, right? Technically, I think that you guys are leaving a lot of money on the table. I think you guys are not taking enough risk. You have 300,000 liquid, no debt, no car loan, no student loan. Wow, at 26, right, both of you, I would go way more aggressive like that, 300,000, right? It then depends whether is it in US stock or is it in crypto or is it in NFT or art or watches or whatsoever. That's also part of the investment topic that we need to think about here. The main difference then for this question will be the intent of the property. In your case, it's 100% Ownstay. So as long as you all like the project within that budget, confirm can buy. So 3,500 for a person's income, let's say 10,000, I think is also okay. Because both of you is going to pay half of it, technically, right? So one person is about 1,750. Very good. But just one more criteria to add on from my point of view, right? Every time when we buy a home, we would think that it's a forever home. But our circumstances will change, especially at your age at 26 right now. Just include your income, future income potential and everything else. Let's say in the future you will make like 15,000 each or 20,000 each. Will you still be thinking that this 800,000 property, it's the dream home? No more already. You will want more, and it's perfectly normal. So the criteria that I want to add on here will be that 85% rule. If this property that you look at, you like the layout, you like everything about it, it's about 800,000, or the monthly installment is about 3,500 a month. I'll go into the properties surrounding that project to look into the rental rates. As long as the current rental rates can somewhat cover up to 85% of 3,500, which is about 2,975, which is about 3,000, right? So if the rental around the area can generate 3,000 for the unit that you are looking at, I think it's a green light to go. What is this 85% about is 5 years from now, after you move in, after all the increment, after the lifestyle change, maybe now you got 1 kid or 2 kids, right? Suddenly 1,001 becomes insufficient. You want to upgrade to 1,500 or 2,000 square feet or even a landed, right? What will happen to the project then? What will happen to this home then? So the 85% rule kind of guarantees the demand of space. Not guarantees, somewhat gauge the demand of space for this particular area. If currently it's now 3,000, maybe 5-7 years later when you want to upgrade, it's 3,200 or 3,300, but your monthly installment is still 3,500. Even when you move out, you won't be too concerned about this property cannot sell or cannot rent. So that's the whole idea about this 85% rule that is somewhat used to gauge the demand, the future demand of the property for your future exit plan. The other condition that I want to add on will be to not be too romantic about a home purchase. Yes, everyone will tell you that as long as you love it, right? As long as you can afford, just go ahead. But to me, it doesn't mean that you can just buy very expensive thing at a very senseless price. Let's say if the surrounding is about 700,000, you go and buy one new project just because you like the concept or whatsoever at 800,000. That is something that you really need to think about it, because based on your behavior of both of you, right, you guys are so prudent about spending, so informed about everything. I don't think this is going to be applicable to you, but I'm just worried that a lot of people, when this conversation of dream home or home to live in together comes into play, right, most of the time the price needs to be painful enough for the home to be meaningful. Unfortunately, that's always the case, but I don't have that concern for you all, okay? Question 2. We will be paying progressive interest during the construction phase. Yes. Do we take our future income into consideration when estimating affordability? Yes and no. In the eye of the bank, they don't look at your future, right? Because they look at your current 26 at this income. In the future, by default, humans will always want to earn more, we will always want to be more productive, in that sense, then yes lor. But from our own calculation point of view, maybe you want to retire at 28. Will you be retiring at 28? I don't think so lah, right? And this is what we mean by commitment. So once you sign on the dotted lines, right, whether you like it or not, for the next 35 years, 30,500 will be deducted from your bank account. Rain or shine, weekend or weekday, they will just take 3,500. And that is the meaning of commitment. That scares a lot of people. But if you are very confident in your skill set and your income generating abilities, then I don't think it's a problem lah. Yes, you will be paying a progressive interest. Can you save this? Only if you take house key lah. So I took house key for my Bukit Jalil purchase. I don't have progressive interest lor. So that's one of the good things, but then I don't have as much rebate from the developer lor. So if they got house keys promo for the particular project that you're looking at, maybe that's also one of the consideration that you can think about. Question 3, do you suggest that we buy new projects that will be completed around 2027 or 2028, or wait until our income is higher and buy from subsale market? The issue is my fiance is not keen on buying subsale unless there's minimal wear and tear. So you can only buy when it's VP. This one a bit weird lah. Like sometimes when we look into a project that's not really selling well, it means that after VP, right, there's still developers unit that's unsold. The previous owners that bought the project didn't really make money. In this situation, if you were to buy 4 years ago versus buy now, the capital appreciation is so low, it makes sense to buy later. Okay, for the Bukit Jalil project that I have invested, now it's going to be my new home. I bought phase 1 at about 700-ish per square feet. So when block B, block C, block D, which is the 4th phase, is erected and sold out at about 1,000 plus per square feet. Now if you think about it, should I buy earlier? Then yes. Because now if you want to buy subsale, it begins at 1,000 per square feet. Unfortunately, this can only be done or be discussed post-event, meaning after 4 years, when we look back, only we can know whether is this purchase a good or a bad one. So why think like that at the current moment, right? So my suggestion for you guys would then be, at this current junction, right, let's say in 2024, you want to buy new, where you take the keys at 2027. So you need to make a decision today and you get the keys 3 years from now. Instead of that, if you were to look into projects that is ready built, it will be a conversation then of new versus subsale that is also new or completed unsold and things like that. If you go into a lot of projects around the city, there's still a lot of units, like 1 or 2 units of a project that a developer is holding. This one you can only go in and ask, they won't be advertising already. In those kind of situations, you kind of get the best of both worlds. Means you buy directly from the developer that includes with all the marketing packages, the discounts, the rebates, the MOT, but it will be greatly reduced compared to the days that they were launching, confirmed. But you get absolute certainty, which is your next question also. That's the fearful part about buying new. So when you buy new, a lot of common areas are not very clear. When you don't know what's the tiles of the swimming pool, you don't know what's the landscape strategy, and the only way to somewhat gauge and have some better estimation, right, is by viewing a lot. That's part of the goals of the channel too. Like at this kind of typology, at this orientation, the lift lobby will look like this. And if you have a fire partition door at the center, the entire experience from the lift lobby to the corridor to your unit, not as nice. So these are the things that we'll slowly highlight in the channel, and I'm so glad that you bring it up. So when you look into floor plate design now, You guys are making way more informed decisions compared to our parents' days when they only give you the unit layout. Now they need to give you a site plan, the unit layout, the floor plate design, the facilities drawing. Ultimately, it's still guesstimation. So can the developer change or alter the corridor size or the tower design after you sign the SPA? Not in terms of specifications, in terms of form. So in terms of dimension, like the width, height, length, all this kind of thing, area, you cannot change. But you can change materials, colors, textures, and things like that. So for example, the swimming pool, it's this big, this long, confirmed in the building plans approval, yes. But the tile size and design, don't know yet. So the only way we can guesstimate will be their rendering. So how do I personally have a better gauge, right? Past projects, which you guys are also using. So you guys are visiting a lot of projects, and that I like. And this is some recommendations for other couples or other youngsters who are also shopping around for properties. Besides visiting only new projects in very comfortable settings like the sales gallery, fully aircon, you got coffee, you got tea, you got cake and all, right? I would suggest to make appointments. You go and see existing projects. Then when you visit, you start to learn what are actually buyers thinking about. For example, like what was mentioned in the email, right? Where's the refuse chamber? What's the experience from the elevated car park to the lift lobby to the corridor to the unit itself? Then for visitors, what do they do? What's the experience of the facility deck going back to the unit? Then is there fire door partitioning, the location of the units against the refuse chamber and things like that. And the more you visit, then when you look into the floor plate design, you can somewhat picture yourself within looking out. Do you want a corridor with voids or without voids? What would the feeling be then? Part of it will be to just visit the channel and look through all the property series again and again. So somewhat you can guesstimate, or what's the double loaded corridor, what's a single loaded corridor, what would be the difference. It's very hard to describe if you are not architecturally trained or you are not within this industry. But I believe that most of us live in a home, live in a house, and it's not too difficult. Then after the end of the visit, something that couples or partners or whoever you want to discuss, right? Have your own version of 3 and 3. Point out the 3 things you like and the 3 things you don't like, and you exchange idea with it. Suddenly when you say, hey, the location is good. No, it's too far from my workplace. Then you want to try the distance or not. I like the swimming pool. You want to like the swimming pool like that? No right, no wrong, but it's just the mutual understanding of what each other want. It helps with the unit selections or the house selection, project selection in the future. So in conclusion, right, is 3,500 monthly installment too high for a joint income of 20,000? No. People spend way more on cars, so I don't think so. But does that mean that you can just splurge on 3,500 like that? You can, but I wouldn't advise to, because you guys are both 26. So the 2 conditions that I would advise is to not overpay for a property too much. Let's say if you are like 10% above the median, still okay, because you have that unique concept of privacy, of serenity that you really like, next to the rich girl, next to a lake girl, who next to a sea girl, whatever lah. You know why you are paying the extra 10%. Make it an informed decision and go ahead, right? Then the other condition is the 85% rule, which somewhat allows us to gauge the exit plan in the future when we want to upgrade, especially when you're just 26. Most of us, when we buy a home, thinking that it's a forever thing. No. Most of us, when we do good, right, we want to upgrade. Even if we don't want to, our loved ones will tell us to upgrade. Cars, I won't encourage, but based on what you like lah. But homes, now we think that 1,001 is enough, but when you have 1 kid, then you have a helper, you have a 2nd kid, then your in-laws might want to stay with you. Maybe should you have a guest room and things like that, sooner or later. But then when we want to upgrade, as long as the current rent can cover 85% of the installment amount, it's all good. Because why not 100%? If 100%, most likely is an investment product that most of the time we don't want to build a family in. Those smaller units in a high density location, high traffic location, usually that's the case lah. That's why the intention matters a lot when we pick properties. It's very difficult to look for a property that we love, absolutely love, quiet, serene and things like that, yet the rental can be very high. Very rare. Okay, very rare. And in terms of safety, in terms of risk, in terms of future income estimation and things like that, I believe you guys are doing fine. Again, 26 years old, a couple, right? Have 300,000 in liquid assets. I think you guys are all cleared up. And you guys are in perfect condition to buy a home. And I'm very confident, right, after you buy the home, right, you all will figure out a way to quickly get out of debt also. And based on the context that you guys are giving me and the vibe you guys are giving me, right, I believe that will be the action plan moving forward. Maybe you will clear the house in 10 years time. And last of all, the main difference between buying new versus buying a subsale will be the difference in certainty. So when you buy new, there's only so many things that you can really guesstimate, but this highly depends on your experience, and that is determined by the amount of projects that you have visited before. So a lot of developers themselves also cannot estimate when they build already, they construct already, why this like that, why the tower so dark. Everybody would technically be aiming to build that perfect property, but why sometimes the building come out not very nice also. So even developers make mistake, architects make mistake. The only way to go around it is to visit as many properties as possible with the intention of studying it. That's why the channel will be very, very useful. The entire property review series, go check it out. And I like the highlight of your wife not being a fan of renting too. And that just occurred to me as well. So like my wife also thinking of, I want my own kitchen, I want to customize my house, I want to be able to add on built-in furniture to my own lifestyle. I don't want to think about because it's rented, later the landlord don't allow this, landlord don't allow that. Yes, and this will be the time to get your own home. Before this, we or me was still in the stage of gearing up investment units, building equity, building more and more. That's why I really like real estate. I really like property because it's a necessity where we need a space to live in. It's also an emotional thing where you feel peace. It's one of the very rare constant that we have in this ever-changing life. That's why a home is very important if you need peace in mind. But for the rest of it, right, like for me, I see it as a total enjoyment. It's an investment tool to build equity, to build money for me. Wonderful, right? And I guess that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for writing in, and congratulations in this new decision. Congratulations in embarking in a relationship. Hopefully the new family will be formed soon. All the best, and I'm very confident that will be. I somewhat foresee the next email will be, do I clear my housing loan early or later? Instead of that, do I invest the money somewhere else and build more? Yeah, that will be the next conversation after you're buying the house. Once again, remember to check out the promotion by the makeover guys, and thank you very much for writing in. For those who still have any questions regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.